Could be coming to thousands of Louisiana homeowners struggling with high insurance premium costs.
As David Jones reports, Insurance Commissioner Jim Donelon announced several companies have signed up for the state's incentive program to start writing new policies, which was uplifting news for at least one local broker.
We're counting on this, all of us, insurance industry and consumers.
For each dollar an insurance company receives through that program, they must match the grant dollar for dollar and then write $4 in new premium.
Commissioner Jim Donelon with welcome news for insurance companies and policyholders. The state's incentive program, with $45 million in state funding, attracted 9 companies to apply for the dollars in exchange for writing new policies along a coast battered by Hurricanes Ida and Laura in recent years.
These companies that are applying for this money have shown stability.
Dan Burkhart is with Dan Burkhart Insurance.
So we feel really good about it.
The program, a relic of the post-Katrina years, was brought back after multiple insurers declared insolvency or pulled out of Louisiana entirely, sending premiums skyrocketing. And for the more than 100,000 policyholders pushed onto Citizens, the state's insurer of last resort, a 63% residential rate hike that took effect this year doesn't help.
We're having some significant insurance issues. All of us are. Me, you, my mom, my family, everybody's having issues with insurance.
When customers are looking at the interest rates going up, they're looking at the insurance premiums doubling, tripling. They got the National Flood Insurance Program with its 2.0 risk rating thrown in there. I mean, it's almost like we're trying to get rid of homeowners.
Burkhart says now the goal of moving policyholders off Citizens seems within reach.
This business will eventually move out of Citizens if it's eligible. They're going to, of course, underwrite it, and we think that it'll depopulate Citizens.
Donelon also made some news when he announced he would not be running for re-election after serving as Louisiana's insurance commissioner for the past 17 years.
We all were of the impression that Commissioner Donelon was committed to running again for the office.
Kevin Cunningham with Southern Strategy is a lobbyist and expert in property insurance law.
The last few years, when you add the pandemic, you add higher than or historic inflation, as well as the number of major storms that we've had here. Louisiana's had a bad run of late. However, I think there's an opportunity to right the ship.
Cunningham shared his thoughts for anyone who wants Donelon's job.
Be prepared to address some of what we call the man-made crisis in this state, as far as lawsuit abuse, fraud abuse, and overregulation of the insurers who are doing it right.
These 9 insurers collectively asked for more than $62 million in matching grant money. It's about $17 million more than the state had allocated. The Louisiana Department of Insurance will review the applications before approving them. The department says it expects these companies to start writing new policies as soon as April, with a bill being filed for the appropriation of the additional money if needed.